Hello, dear ones. Welcome to Touched by the Lord, a program that will build your faith, hope, and trust in the Lord. We are so thankful to God Almighty for life. I hope before you got out of your bed, you thanked the Lord for your life, because life is so precious that you cannot take it for granted. Let God have your life, for He can do more with it than you can. When you hand over your life to the Lord, He can do so much with it than your own effort. So give your life to the Lord. We thank God so much for this program. And we thank you also for always taking the time out of your busy schedule to watch us. Do you have any testimony to share? Do you have any life story that you want someone to hear so they can be encouraged? Please take our numbers on the screen. Give us a call and we'll help you to share it live to bless someone out there. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, TBL TV. Like, comment, and share. Please like our Facebook and Instagram pages, TBL TV. Comment and share to friends, families, and loved ones, and they will not be the same. We bless the Lord so much for the many guests that we have been blessed with since we started this wonderful program. Today, we have a woman of God to bless us with her life journey. Last week we were so blessed, and today we have our dear Rita Amivi Wurth-Seddoh to share her life journey with us. This month is for mothers and women, and we are blessed she's in our studios to bless us with her life journey. Hello.
Hello, Auntie Suzzy.
Hello, Auntie Rita. Nice to have you in our studio.
I'm more blessed.
You are a great woman. I spoke to you, and within the shortest possible time, because you wanted God's people to be blessed, you availed yourself out of your busy schedule to bless us. God bless you.
God bless you also, and God bless your organization. God bless your efforts, and God bless your intention. You know, most importantly, the purpose of this program, reaching out to women and to anybody out there who may have suffered similar situations. Our testimonies are supposed to inspire, encourage other women, so that, avoid being the victims, but at least be able to get up again, you know, and then take up their cross and then, you know, continue, because God has a purpose for everybody on earth, and so nobody has, you know, the right to actually derail you from the purpose.
From your purpose, true.
So.
And you know why I love May? May is always dedicated to mothers. Great things that God is doing with mothers. It's not even only in Ghana. The whole world, mothers are doing so much. They go through so much, but they brave up because of their children. So God bless you.
God bless you too.
Before we continue, can you tell us a bit about yourself, and then we'll continue?
You've already mentioned my name.
Yes.
I'm Rita. Some people call me Amivi. You know,
Amivi is nice.
Amivi is a word name for a Saturday born.
Oh, okay.
But because my mom is Ami, I made my Amivi. So it's like small Ami or small Ama.
Okay.
You know, yeah, more or less. just, well, I was born into, you know, a beautiful family, which I didn't choose.
Yeah.
So I not so much of the family of father, mother presence, but more of my grandmom and my mom, who have been my inspiration throughout the ages.
Wow.
My mother was born with some physical disabilities, so
wow.
I would say, well, maybe that may have contributed for her not to have had a successful marriage the way we would have hoped. So she spent her life with her mom.
Wow.
And my grandmom was such a wonderful woman, very industrious. And, you know, back in those days, a lot of women didn't go to school.
Yeah.
But, you know, she was brought up in the Olympio family.
Wow.
With Reverend sisters. So it was more of catering, sewing, crocheting.
Yeah.
So that became, you know, her profession.
That's it.
And my mom also took after that. So growing up, it was my mom, my grandmom, and our grandfather. But because he had 2 wives, you know, he spent time in between. Yeah. So he was a cocoa buyer. So those days in Transvolta, Togoland, he was a cocoa buyer in KJB. So that's where they were. Then later on, he joined GNTC as a managing director for Volta region. So, you know, he moves in between, but later on settled back in Togo, you know, where they were born. So I virtually grew up with my mom and my grandmother.
In Volta region?
Yes, from KJB. Okay. Then we moved to Accra in 74.
Oh, okay.
Yes, my grandmother has a house in Kaneshie, so that's where we stayed. So that was around age 9.
Wow.
I started primary school. So, you know,
that has been...
That's a little bit about my childhood days.
And
I'm the second born of my mother. We are 4, so 2 girls and 2 boys.
And you are the second?
I'm the second.
We thank God. You know, we are in the month for mothers. And like you're saying, your grandmother, to your mother, and to yourself and your other siblings. You know, women go through a lot. Can you maybe run us through your journey as a young woman to marriage and taking care of your children and your family and education and everything?
Well, I should say that, you know, growing up as a child, it was a happy childhood because my grandmom, per her standards those days, was quite wealthy. So, you know, life was good. Yeah. Life was good. And so that is how I saw life as a young lady. You know, always dressing beautifully, going to church together.
You still dress beautifully.
Thank you. Thank you. But growing up, I realized my mom and my grandmom were very devoted to church. We are Catholics, so they brought me up with the Catholic religion right from, let me say, age 5, where my grandmom used to cook for the parish priest. Those were the experts those days, so it was a Dutch. And so, you know, every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and we had a big house, and we had all the sheep, the goats, the chicken, ducks, everything.
So everything was in abundance?
Everything was in abundance. And my grandmom, she used to make children's clothes, like what you see in Marks and Spencer, children's clothes with embroidery and school fabrics and things. So they were in the market. And so basically, and she had a lot of apprentices. At the time, we could have about 16 of them. And you know, so it was a big house. But what I realized is my grandmom was always, when it comes to cooking, nobody cooks for her. So that, you know, you may have grind the pepper. We had a houseboy who maybe slaughtered the chicken and dressed it and everything. But she always get up from the machine and come and sit down, do her cooking, and then we ate together. So growing up, I realized that no matter how busy you are, you had to do the cooking. And she was such a good cook. And so she makes very tasty dishes. So I got used to eating very,
Wow.
very tasty dishes, you know. Yeah.
And are you a good cook too?
Yes, I am, I should say, because I ran a catering house for 12 years. I never went to a catering school.
Hey, wow.
Yeah, and I do a lot of catering, yeah.
For 12 years?
Yes, for 12 years. I've been catering professionally 12 years. After that, I still would do once in a while for a friend, but I ran a restaurant for 12 years.
And then...
So growing up, that is what I took from, you know, my grandmom. And then also I realized at a very early age that a woman needs to work. Because my grandmother was very industrious, and because my grandpa had 2 wives, you know, there were other set of children. But my grandmother's children were able to go up to the university and, you know, could continue. And I realized that because she had extra money. So, yes, a husband, he's okay, but whatever his income is, it has to be shared among. And so,
among the 2 wives?
Among the 2 sets of family.
Yeah.
So you realize that if you are not working, then the children will just earn where the father's income
That's true.
can support.
Yeah.
So I realized right from, you know, early ages that my grandmother's children, her children, had that privilege because their mother was very industrious. They even went to boarding school in Jasikai. And my mother survived over the years because the mother could afford medication. So whatever the medication was, she was the only daughter. She had 8, but a set of twins first, they died. They were still born, so they didn't survive. But the 3 after my mom all died later in their teens. Somehow, nobody knows. So I realized that she could afford whatever medication that was prescribed, even both the traditional and then the orthodox. She was able to afford. So for my mother to have survived to about 73 years is because the mother could afford it. So
that's how you pick your trend?
Yes, that a woman needs to work and then complement whatever income, you know, I mean, is coming from the man. So that is how I built myself. So right from, you know, even young as 6, back in KJB, we could, you know, school was, I think 8 to 12, then from 2 to 5. Yeah. So when I come back, because they are in the market, I go there and then, you know, I'll just arrange some cube of sugars in a tray and then go around the market
and sell
and then come back, you know, when it's time I go back.
So you have always been industrial?
I've always been, you know, introduced to business from a very young age. Yeah, so I grew up with that, and then, you know, as they aged, I realized that I had a responsibility right from the age 16. I realized that I needed to help my mother carry her cross. So I got involved, and, you know, they had a small supermarket at home. So I have to go to the market at times, buy the words, and because of that, I couldn't go to boarding school. My other siblings went to boarding school. So, you know, before common entrance, I was made aware that I was the pillar of the house. So, you know, it was a responsibility I had to embrace.
No, but it was good you sacrificed for that.
Yeah, so, you know, from school, go to market, do the shopping, do that. So, yeah, that's how I...
So at what point did you decide to go back to school? Was it after marriage or before or...?
Yeah, okay, I completed 6th form, and at the time we were doing national service after 6th form.
Yeah.
So after 6th form, do national service, then I was now supporting the family. Even with national service allowance. So I realized then I wanted to do banking and finance, so I wanted to go to IPS, but I realized that no, I wouldn't have the support, so I had to work. So right after national service, I got a job at the then Internal Revenue Service in the accounts department. So that's how I started my career. Then brother got married a bit early. No, I wouldn't say early because just about 26. But I told myself I wanted to get married around 24.
You got married at 26?
Yeah, no,
yes,
yeah,
okay.
in my 26th year. It was in May, and I'm October born. So, yeah. So, by 26, I was married and I was pregnant. And so, at the same time, I had to take care of my mom and the 2 younger siblings. So, I had a lot of responsibility on hand. So I was working, and I also had to do a little business along the side. You know, I've sold, electrical products, Persian carpets, a whole lot of things.
Everything to make you survive.
Everything to make him survive. Because when I got married, my husband was doing national service. So he had just national service allowance for the first 3 years of our marriage. He was just earning national service allowance, so I was the main support.
Was it a right decision that your husband is doing his national service and you'd agreed to marry? Was it because you were working?
No, but I got pregnant, and then we got married traditionally. You know, they did a knocking and then traditionally. So I moved from my mother's house, to join him, and I was in love. Yes.
You guys were in love?
Yes. I wouldn't say, for now, I wouldn't say we were, but I know I was in love. Yes.
Why do you say that?
Because we got divorced somewhere along the line, and some of the pronouncements that came make me realize that I wouldn't have been his choice.
Wow.
And so, so throughout the marriage, right from day one I moved to the house, it was a big challenge.
No, young people are listening to us.
Okay.
If you said, looking back, you thought that you guys were not meant for each other, what does that mean? Because you were in love and you married.
Yes, I was in love. I was in love with my husband, and he was not financially stable, there, if I should say.
Yeah.
But because I was in love, I was working. I was in a secure job. And I know his situation was not permanent. So, okay, I had to do the sacrifice now. Okay. Knowing very well that he was also going to, get a job and then also upgrade themselves. And then together we'll be able to work it out. Okay. Yeah, so I was prepared to sacrifice. And I didn't see it much as a problem. A problem, no. I was just doing what I think I should do best.
From what you're saying, love is not enough. You understand? Someone is watching us. They think that they are in love. Like you said, many years ago you were in love and later realized that there was nothing. What will you advise them? You are in love. He's in love. We want to marry and settle down. What will you tell the person? What do you think the person should look out for?
Yeah, having gone through such a, traumatic marriage life.
Yeah. Was it traumatic?
Yeah, it was. It was. Wow. Yeah, it was challenging right from day one. But I thought my love was so strong that it could overcome any challenge. I was so naive then. I thought my love was enough. Yeah. And I read a lot, and I think I read an article in a Reader's Digest, and it was about the ideal woman. Okay. So, before I got married, I had that picture, that image of the ideal woman.
So you wanted to be?
I wanted to be the ideal woman. So my purpose going into marriage, I want to be the ideal woman. I want to be the best of wife and the best of husbands or whatever. So I didn't think, that that was a sin. For me, it was just natural, okay, for me then. But it was when, after the traditional marriage, that we came together as a couple, then the behaviors and some of the attitudes.
So you see, this is it. And so that is why I'm saying that. Can you advise somebody?
So And I should say that when you're in a relationship, you should look out for the red flags. There are certain things that you might see, and then you talk about, you can discuss it mutually, and if the person has your interest at heart,
good,
and realize that, oh, this behavior of mine does not suit our purpose, it's going to bring conflict, he will try to amend. But if the person doesn't and feels that this is me, you have it like that,
or leave it,
then you should know that there's a problem there.
Okay.
You know, because it's a mutual, it's a give and take.
Yes.
It's a give and take.
Yeah.
And I call something the adjustment of a committed relationship.
Marriage of a committed relationship.
Marriage is a committed relationship.
True.
And there's a lot of adjustment to be made. You know, when you sit in trotro, achia, you know, everybody, you push a little, and then everybody. So you by all means will have to give off some of your comfort zone.
It's true.
Just to accommodate the other.
Okay.
But when you don't want to, you always want to take an entrenched position, then you cannot be marriage partners, because there will always be conflicts.
Okay, so let's say that you're dating somebody like that, and he says, "This is me. You can't change." What do you have to do?
Well, you have to ask yourself whether it's something that you can tolerate.
Okay. For the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life, thinking that the person might change. For me, I was always praying to God that He will change. It has always been my prayer.
Were you doing your part as a wife so that it will maybe make him change? You know, sometimes you say that I'm praying, but what about my part?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good question. And I'm not being boastful, but I would say, and maybe people watching, some will know me, that I live as a good wife.
You did.
I'm saying this is somebody who was doing national service, so food, clothing.
Everything.
When I was I was pregnant, antenatal, I was paying. I mean, who would do that if you don't, if you don't love the person?
Okay.
So I was taking care of everybody's needs.
And it was not a problem to you?
It was not a problem to me. I was a happy, you know, we started marriage. He was living in his father's house. So when he got married, we just moved to the outhouse. So it was an outhouse, 1 bedroom. We didn't even have a kitchen then. So it was just a bed and 2 chairs.
Wow.
With a small, bedside fridge.
Wow.
That could take just about 300 ml bottles of water. But I was happy.
You're happy.
I was happy because for me, I was in love. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I was in love. But I realized there were little conflicts here and there. But I was pregnant and I was looking forward to having my child. Yeah. So I didn't complain. You know, I didn't complain because
you were happy.
I was just happy.
Viewers, you are listening to our interesting conversation with our Auntie Rita. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You've been listening to Auntie Rita sharing her life journey. Do you have any story to share? Do you have any testimony so that someone will be encouraged? Please take our numbers on the screen. Call us and we'll give you that opportunity to do so, to bless someone out there. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, TBL TV. Like, comment, and share. You will not be the same. Please like our Instagram and Facebook pages, TBL TV. God bless you. Auntie Rita, you were sharing about the adjustments you made. Although there was not much, you were happy. And I think that if you get a woman like this, who would understand you and live with you no matter the situation, then you are looking at a future that is bright. You understand? But the way you were saying it was not like that. So can you take us a bit? And then we'll get to a point where you had to sacrifice for your kids to come this far.
Yeah, I think, so yeah, life was just adjustments all the time along the way, one thing after the other. But it got to a point where I realized that, okay, this was a man who was not really ready to embrace the responsibility that comes with marriage and parenthood. You know, because the children were growing, the demands were huge, and I still had my mom and my siblings to take care of, so it was becoming a bit of
tough.
Yeah, it was tough.
Does it mean that because you were taking care of your mom and your grandmother, you were not so committed to your marriage?
No. It didn't.
It didn't change?
It didn't affect. My grandmom died in 81, so I mean long before I got married. So it was just my mom and then the two younger ones after me. So it was not so much. It didn't impact. I never sacrificed the interest of my marriage or family life, you know, for that of my mother and siblings. They were my responsibility, but that did not. So it means that the burden was rather on me. I didn't depend on him, as I said. So basically, we were both junior officers when we started working, and so I had to do.
Were you working at the same place?
No. He was working in one of the insurance companies, but he started as a junior officer. You know, so I realized that I had to do something. So I told you I was selling. You know, then I think somewhere in 1999. You remember, just before the exit of Rawlings, we suffered some hyperinflation. Things were just, you know, prices were going up, just like we are having now. And I realized that, you know, the two of us, our income could no longer hold. And I remember those days, you go to Agbogbloshie on Saturday, he would take me. And then when I come back and sit in the car, and then I said, hey, do you know, I mean, a small tube of yam is, and I would just naturally just talk about the situation, how, you know, one day we came back and then, you know, he just flared at me. You don't know how you annoy me when you start talking about these things. And I was like, wow. I was confused because who else was I going to complain to? But I just said, forget it. So what I decided to do, that you drop me off at the market. At the market. You go home. So after my shopping, I pick a taxi home. Then that way I zip my lips. So just to maintain the peace, I kind of, you know, gag me in a way that, the situation is bad, but you can't complain. So then what else do I do? Then I just had, it wasn't a vision, and the idea. I started with shito. So I started bottling shito. And then I started making sandwiches. So I go and buy the fish, the dry fish from Tuesday Market, Mampubi. So early at dawn, I go there, buy the fish, come home before I wash down the children, myself, and we go to work. Then on Saturday, I make the pot of shito. And I do my own labeling from the office. That was long before bottling of shito became a
common thing.
A commercial venture. And so my colleagues, staff, they'll come, oh Rita, the children are going to school, I need 4 bottles, this and that. I started making sandwiches. I use the, what do you call it, the burger, rolls.
Yeah, the rolls.
So 3 corned beef, tuna, eggs, and it became a thing. So every morning, make about 100 sandwiches. Carry to the office. I have to get to the office by 7:30.
So that you will sell them.
So that we sell them. So I started supporting myself. So then now every day I had money on me. So there was no need to complain again.
Yeah.
Then I said I needed to upgrade myself.
Yeah.
So I got admission at Legon and Central University, but I chose Central University because it was closer to home.
Yeah.
And then I could, so the office granted me study leave with pay.
Wow.
So yeah, I started, you know, the university. Then just around the time, he also had to travel to the Gambia to take a course in insurance. And then, you know, so it was after he had gone, you know, where we were living with the father's place, we had problems with flood. So every time it rains, our place got flooded, our properties are destroyed, and I will always have to, you know, take money from the office to do repairs, repaint, and do all that. So, and the children were growing, and the space was small. And at my grandmother's house, the outhouse had been vacant, which was a 3-bedroom house. So I got a small housing subsidy from the office, and I said, oh, okay, let me renovate it.
So that you guys can move to a bigger place.
And at the time, I had the idea of running the restaurant. And then I had a space at home. I put up some shops. And then the children's school were closer to that place. So instead of driver dropping them off, we could cut down on the cost of drivers, because they could walk to school. And then from school, I can come home. Since the restaurant is at home, at least I can be there till around 10 or 11. So everything would have been worked perfectly. Yeah. Then he agreed and said, oh, no problem. Then he left. So I started, you know, doing the renovations and things like that. But just as we were about to move in, then he said, okay, you can go, but leave my things. So I was like, how am I leaving your things? So I packed off everything, just left a few things. And then when he arrived on that Sunday, he said he wasn't going to join us. So that was the beginning of the nightmare.
Wow.
That was in 2002. So it was just one thing left to another. Then he stopped eating from the house and, you know, eating from the mom. And, you know, it was just, it became an ugly situation. So, but I didn't really, yeah, it was a problem, but, and I, as usual.
You had 2 children then?
You had 2 children, okay. Yeah, 2 children then. They were about 10 and 12. The first was in JSS 1 at the time. The second was just in class 5. And, they, you know, it was having effect on the children also. But I was confused as to what to do. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't have the strength to just stand up against his behavior. And
because you wanted the marriage to work.
And somehow I thought, well, it's just a phase.
It will pass.
It will pass. So I did my best. Then one day he just came to the house and said, oh, this marriage is not going to work. So I wanted a divorce. And I was like, well, you are the man. I mean, what else can I do? Because there was nothing. I just didn't have anything to say. So. And then he went to court to file the divorce.
That was it?
That was it.
So all the sacrifices didn't matter? How did you take it?
Naturally, it was a blow. What made it worse is the reason for his divorce, because he gave a petition that was a complete lie, a defamation of my character.
Wow.
And in situations like that, it's like it's your word against his.
Yeah.
What defense do you have? And here was a situation that we were having financial difficulties. I have 2 kids, and I was in school, and paying, you know, Central University at the time was one of the most expensive private schools in Ghana. And the office was not paying my fee, so I have to pay my fee. So it was such a very difficult situation. So, okay, I had to go for a lawyer. I mean, first meeting, we introduced ourselves, we introduced to the judge, then they said, the judge just told us he has been transferred to a fast-track court.
What did it affect your performance at work?
I was on study leave, luckily.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was on study leave and I was in school. But that was it.
Did it affect your school?
Somehow, God has been good. God has been good. And my grades were always, at least the worst I could get was a C. That was even just one.
Wow.
Throughout the 4 years, I just had one C. It was either A plus, or B.
Wow.
Yes.
Going through all that.
Yes. But
psychologically, it didn't affect you, is that right?
It did.
It did?
It did. But one thing about me is that I don't show it. I had 3 good friends at school. I think God just placed them in my way. So they got to know the situation. So when we go to school, we talk about whatever happened. We pray. They pray with me. We share. But I woke up every morning. The first thing that touches my lips was tears. And the last thing that kisses my lips was tears.
Wow.
And at home, I was a confused person. You come to my bed, it's like my books take half of the bed. I just,
Wow.
And the children, school, you have to come home, you have to take care of their homework. And I was running a restaurant, so I have to look at the workers and all that. But I think I was busy, so I couldn't dwell much on the pain. But in my own small corner, I lost it. And I think that was where it was getting bad. I sought counseling from church. One of my young priests was very devoted and dedicated to me. And we went through counseling thinking that we could iron out things, but he didn't, he didn't succeed before he filed for the divorce. So we just had to work through the divorce situation.
So how did you get the strength to take care of the kids till now that they are gone?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Wow.
I get up every day and it's like there's a road ahead of you.
Yeah.
Whichever way you maneuver, to get to your destination, I do. And, I was still in school. So now I was even, I have to cook, carry it in black polythene bags because now I was, providing food for my maids, some of the administration staff. Reverend Jangmao was one of the people who, he liked chicken salad. So I was making a special chicken salad for him. So the school also got to know about my catering. So clubs, we said, oh, Auntie Rita, we are having a meeting, we want 70 packs of fried rice or something. So I had these young guys, they could make spring rolls and other things. So I just called them. By the time I get home around 4, they have done it. I just, send it to school. So
it was like you were busy?
I was busy. And then,
that time.
Exactly. So after taking care of the kids, I come back to the restaurant and then see to the sales and whatever, for the following morning. But when I got to 4th year, I realized I was tired. Physically, mentally, I was tired because getting up, preparing food, going back to school, and at the time, Central University, it was stressful because we need 9 courses per semester, which comes with assignments, quizzes, and all that. So one day after class, we were just walking home, and it was just a thought, and I said, oh God, I wish I could get an order, a big order, that the profit to sustain me for the rest of the semester so I don't have to cook. And you know what happens? As soon as I got home, my workers told me, oh, Madam, you remember for Abaha? And I'm like, what happened? He said, oh, they came to end of year party. I usually used to do the catering. So they said, oh, I should take care of their end of year party. And I was like, wow, that was it. And so that helped me not to cook to school again.
So
and
that
then
you rest.
Yes, I was able to, take care of my transport to school and back, and then, even taking care of my own lunch. So that is how, it started. So as for, I don't know, but my friends used to pray with me.
A lot.
They used to pray with me, and then one day we decided that the way things have gotten to, then we needed to take a serious step. We decided to have a fast. It was a Thursday, and then we decided to pray, and the Holy Spirit descended. Mightily in my house. But one of them was started manifesting, and whatever it is, he was just saying that he was just begging God and pleading God on my behalf. Whatever it is, he didn't tell me.
Wow.
So we go back to school the following semester, and they said, no, Rita, we are not going to take up your issue anymore. God has spoken, so you are on your own. Can you imagine that? It's like people that I have been with. So I said, okay, if you like, you can go ahead. So I decided that, well, then it's my issue, let me take it up. So I start. 3 days into the prayers, I wake up at 1, then I hear a voice, why are you worrying yourself? Then I stop. After a week, I started. Then the third time, the same voice. Then I realized God was speaking to me. So I stopped praying. Then I realized I didn't even know, not knowing God revealed to her that the marriage was not going to work, but he was going to establish me.
Oh.
So I think God was with me all along. And one day I woke up, and then I was having my quiet time, and I was reflecting on Psalm 91. And when I got to verse 14, which says that it said, those who love me and acknowledge my name, I will save them. Then I went into a trance. Within a split second, I saw myself pacing up and down, and I was looking wretched and worried and everything. There was everything wrong with me. Then all of a sudden, I decided to sit, so I sat down. Then I realized there was someone by my side, and I said, oh God, is that you? Were you here all this while? He said, yes, my daughter.
Oh.
And then he said, I've just been waiting for you to just sit, calm down. Then I woke up. Then I ran. My house is not far from my church. Okay, I'm a Catholic. I worship at St. Teresa's Catholic Church around the Arudomi roundabout.
So ran.
I ran to the parish and told the priest, this is what he said. Yes, I should go back, but God is going to reveal more things to me.
That's it.
So it became dreams after dreams. And anytime I get a dream, whatever follows. So gradually, God started preparing me so that it was no longer so much of a shock. But it comes and I'm able to
go to the next.
I go to the next. So that is how it continued, because I was not getting any support from him. So taking care of the children, they were now in boarding school. So at least I have a little bit of privacy when they are off school, so I could concentrate. So I was able to do that, finish. And then in 2009, I decided to also do my master's.
Wow.
A foreign course, which I took. And, so it was loans from the office, and my salary could just go almost zero. But I had a restaurant to support me. And so the children also going to the university and all that. So
God has been good.
Yeah, God has been good.
As you were sharing the story, my heart was beating, but at a point when you said, God said, I have been waiting for you to sit. That means that God was looking for your attention. He's always with us.
Yes.
He says, I know the plans I have for you. It is not evil. It is good to bring you to an expected end. Someone is watching us. Maybe even as you shared it, they are recounting what they've gone through. Marriage is naturally not easy. But nobody wants to marry and just go through divorce. Like you are telling us, you tried to make the marriage work. God saw it. And so when all these things were going on, he was there for you. Someone is watching us. They are so devastated. They don't know what to do. Can you share something to encourage them?
Well, what can I say? 3 things I would say that human beings as we are, especially for us women, I think that we cannot do without God. We cannot do without God.
True.
I mean, there's no way we can survive being born a girl. It comes with its own, challenges. Yes, these days, affirmative...
Being an African girl, or
especially affirmative actions and feminism and all these, but still a girl. For me, you are a woman, you are a woman. There are certain things that are natural with us. And I'm not ready to say that we should go against the intention of God of creating us in that special. You know, we are created special. And I would like to come back to this earth and still be a woman despite the challenges. So I think that one is to reckon with the fact that you were born with a purpose. You were not born by mistake.
That's it.
And as a woman, you should be, one, accept yourself as who you are. And then aspire to be somebody. Because from my earlier narration, growing up as a young lady, I realized that a woman needs to work.
Yeah.
Yes, mine is divorce. Yours can be the death of a husband, a premature death. It can be incapacitation. It can be loss of job. What do you do? So you should always be somebody who is ready to work. Not only work, but making sure that your work is profitable. You are earning income at any point in time. You should be able to rent a place on your own, be able to take care of yourself, and if you have kids, and then in Africa we have extended family. You know, you need to take care of parents, aged parents, and siblings, and all that. And do your best as a woman, because for me, there's no excuse as to say that, okay, because I married somebody who was doing national service, I want to marry somebody who is already there. He has his house, he has his money, he has his car and all that. When you come to my house now, there's nothing. I mean, I have everything, even in excess, but I started in that humble situation, you know. So over the years, you don't rush for these things.
That's true.
The wealth you see today is no guarantee for any marriage security. It's just by grace. Those who have made it through to 40 years, 50, 60 years, it's just by grace, and there's a lot of sacrifice. But I think that you should also have the right companions, the right group of friends. Some of us, we don't have friends that can pray with us. You have friends who say that, oh, but what is it? If, I mean, you are working, you are a career person. If you want, he doesn't want to, you know, just get out there. No. And even saying that, okay, one person doesn't like me, there's another person. I had the opportunity of meeting a lot of men who were crazy about me. But after a divorce, you need a transition period. You need a time to heal, a time to forgive. Otherwise, you're going to make somebody a victim of the circumstance. That's true. So I realized, and who knows whether your children are going to like that person. Here is the case. My ex got married barely 6 months after the divorce. Wow. So the children have to now deal with a stepmom. So when they come to my house, so they have to deal with a stepdad. And so I have to sacrifice and make sure that, let me just have
focus on them
until they can get to a stage whereby, and I also go through my healing process. And the healing process was not easy. It didn't come in 2-5 years. No, it was a gradual accepting it, because I sacrificed so much for my marriage, and I didn't understand why I should lose it. So it took a while, but God, you know, built me up gradually. And even at church, I was involved in counseling. So God opened other avenues for me. And I must say, to the glory of God, that I'm a better person today than in my marriage. And I think maybe, I wouldn't say God made me suffer, I mean, such pain just to bring me to this age. But I think He saw me making the mistake right from the beginning, and you know, He prepared other alternatives for me. That's true. Until the right time when I was able to reckon with my own purpose and be able to, you know, work on myself.
Amen. Yeah, you're able to work on yourself, and you have really done well. And most importantly, bringing up young ladies to do the right thing is most commendable. And we thank God for your life. Viewers, you've been hearing her story, and I know some of you are down, even myself a bit, but where I got the encouragement was I was waiting for you to just sit. You know, everything that we are going through as children of God, God is, He says, I'll be with you in the fire, I'll be with you in the water. It means that the fire will come. If the fire will not come, He will never have said that He will be with us in the fire. And I have taken a lot. What have you taken from this? I want to leave you with Psalm 9 verse 18, which says, but God will never forget the needy. The hope of the afflicted will never perish. Wherever you are and whatever you are going through, whether in your marriage, at work, and wherever you find yourself, God says that He has you in mind. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Whether you are being afflicted in your marriage, whatever you are going through, God says He's there with you. And for what He said to our dear Auntie Rita, that I have been waiting for you all along. God has been waiting for you all along to pay attention to Him, no matter what you are going through, so that He will be able to tell you which way to take next, like He did with you. Now you're a better person, you are stronger, you have sacrificed for your children, and that is what God will do for you and more. All you have to do is that let God take charge of your life, because when He does that, He will do more with you than you can do for yourself. I hope you have been blessed by this episode. Whatever you are going through, God says He knows the plans that He has for you. Be strong as a woman, and I want to tell you, God is with you. He will not leave you nor forsake you. All He needs you to do is to pay attention to Him. I hope you have been blessed. Please share this video to bless someone out there. Share it to mothers. People you know around you are going through one thing or the other. And I know the Lord will bless you. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, TBL TV. Like, comment, and share. You will never be the same. That will be all for this episode. See you same time next week. Bye-bye.